achieving their goals. And we don't want any girl to go through something which should be a distraction from achieving their goals. For such things, and I just got this beautiful chance to talk to a few girls who are the change makers, and there are so many change makers who are watching this right now. I felt so empowered, and I could hear them screaming and talking about the fact that they are ready to be the change and nobody can stop them. And I think it's a great honor again to be a part of this organization. Thank you so much, Mr. Arunachalam, for being a part of this. You have been an inspiration to me and many young women and individuals all around the world. You have broken a lot of stereotypes, and now it's our time to do it together and break more stigmas. Thank you so much, Paula ma'am. Thank you so much, Mr. Mike, GDP Mudra, for being here. And let's all get together to be the change makers and change this world. Shukriya.
Thank you, Harnaaz, and your passion is so inspiring. Your ambition of reaching 500 million young girls and women globally, and starting with 5 million girls by 2025 in India is huge. And this coalition, these powerhouses that have got together, and you've ignited that coalition. I'm sure there's no doubt in my mind that we'll get where you want to get. So that's really inspiring. I'd like to now invite Arun from Plan India to talk a little bit about the pillars of the program.
Thank you, Shali. And as we all know, this subject. This subject is very important and very critical for the human race itself, because you can imagine the 50% of the population, this is women, have to undergo this menstrual cycle every month. And if you, as per one of the estimate, the total number of days in a life cycle is around 2100 days a woman has to undergo this menstrual cycle. And if you calculate it together, it's around 6 years of the life they have to spend on it. And it's such a healthy sign if it happens. We all require to celebrate, and celebrate with a perspective rather than kind of solution, so that their future, their life, their health is secured. Further, we would also like to give more attention to the measurable impact. It's not like we have something that we want to do and then we leave it, but there is something that we require to look at, like how we ensure that the last miles are being delivered, and they sustain this development. They are not just like one of the thing they try and then leave it. So we have experienced that if a woman is informed, if the family is informed rather about the menstrual cycle and the cause and the way that they require to manage their cycle well, and with that set of knowledge and information, if they continue to have a safe hygienic process practices for menstrual cycle for consecutive 3 months, that means they have adopted the right practices for menstrual hygiene. And if that is done, naturally they will continue to follow, because they will also see the benefit out of it, they will experience the benefit out of it. And that's how we will also try to measure the impact of it. And naturally it will all have a joint initiative where we have the accountability and we have the trust to continue and reach the number that we are aspiring to. And I'm very confident the influencer like Harnaaz, who is so passionate about the subject and who is so committed on the agenda, I'm sure all the partners here will definitely make a lot of impact in the society, and we will definitely see a huge change in coming days. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Arun, and you know, it couldn't have gotten a better partner to implement this for us. You guys have experience, and we know we can make it happen. Harnaaz is very confident that you can make it happen with you. Let's now invite the other dignitary in the room, Mr. Arunachalam, who's a significant partner in this coalition. one man who's led the revolution in the space, and an amazing man to talk to, and I will be very inspired to hear your story, Mr. Arunachalam. Over to you, and thank you for joining.
So good morning everyone. And first I'm bowing down my head to Harnaaz. Usually the moment anyone got Miss Universe, they will go north and Bollywood, Hollywood, this would, that would. This girl is coming to knock the door of the messy area of women period. The two Harnaaz Sandhu, really great. So really I'm amazed. So such a young age, really I'm ashamed. So what a young age you're coming to break the taboos. So coming to the women menstruation period, it is never addressed, not even debated, not even ever talked. And the wife never talked to husband, friends didn't know about each other. Mainly the wife never talked to husband, even might know whether the wife talked. It is a messy area. So for centuries, so many problems as is solved. Labor laws, slavery. A lot of things are addressed in 15th, 16th, 17th century. I don't know from which century is never addressed. Maybe before Christ era or something. That is why, I saw almost, if I look back, 23 years gone like, like a butterfly, fly down like anything. Why only women in India are dying with cervical cancer? Not the Harnaaz. Only in our country, women are dying with the cancer or cervical cancer. None of other countries. So these are all happening because of not practicing a good menstrual hygiene practice. Not yesterday or day before yesterday, from the puberty period, not on the fact. That is why I told in big gynecologist conference, in front of me there are like your father. So this way we have to fight this number one, period taboos, then period ignorance, then period negligence. So these are all the areas we are going to fight. Period poverty is common, and period taboos is mainly, period ignorance is come all things, and period negligence.
Thank you, Mr. Arunachalam. As always, very inspiring. Every time, I know I've had the opportunity to talk to you a couple of times. It's so inspiring, and I'm sure it's been very, very inspiring for everyone here. And Harnaaz, we just heard him, right? He's got a proven working model of not just producing affordable pads, but also the entire ecosystem around it, creating awareness, creating change agents, all of that. He's got that model in place. We know that Plan India has already been working with him with setting up his machines, and we've got the best implementation partners with us, right? And I know that your ambitions are really, really huge, right? You're here to, your attempt is to create a new era in the space of menstrual equity. Your ambition is around ending period poverty, and you're igniting that with bringing people together. What's the first thing that you're going to do now? We've announced it. We know we plan to do it. What's the first, initiative that you're taking up during your homecoming?
Well, there's so much that I have in my mind, and I just can't wait to get started. And I think it will give me a great amount of pleasure to meet women and to understand, going to the rural areas, talking to them, making them feel comfortable, just sitting by their side and just to talk about things and educating them. And that's something which I'm looking forward to, because along with that, machine is going to be pad machine is something which is going to be announced, and I'm looking forward for that in Delhi. And it is something which is new for me as well, and I'm going to educate myself and women around me, and that will give livelihood to a lot of women who don't have access to pads, and in that way a woman is going to support other women. And I think that is the ultimate motto of me right now.
Perfect. And you're in Delhi next week, right?
Yes.
So we've got the first machine being set up next week in Delhi. Awesome. That's amazing. All right. So we've heard from the partners. We've got some guests from media here. We've got about 15 minutes for about 3 to 4 questions. If there are any questions. Yeah, we're rolling? Okay. All right then. I'm being told there's no time, so let's just move forward. Okay, the next segment in our conversation is really a panel discussion around the area of collaboration for impact, right? We've just heard our partners talk about how intense, how large the issue is, right? And need for scaling it, the need for, Mr. Arunachalam just spoke about the fact that there's a need for people to come together on this, for a collective, right? And coalition and collective shared intent is a core tenet of this coalition that Harnaaz is igniting. So let's just hear from some of the experts here on the space and what bringing together of resources, of influencers and expertise can do in the space of menstrual equity to get to our objective of 100% menstrual equity. Let's start from you, Arun. Arun, you've been doing a lot of work on ground, right? And we know that there are several initiatives from the government, from NGOs, from corporates, and you've been implementing a lot of those programs. Yet the issue is really, really huge, right? What do you see are the gaps, and how can collaborations and partners like these make a difference and really scale up what you've been trying to do for so many years?
Thank you, Shali. See, as I said previously and very nicely highlighted by Mr. Murunathan, see, real problem is at the ground level, at the last mile, where the social perception or the social behavior from the certain communities, certain people who are more vulnerable, their perspective towards the whole subject has to be changed. That is the real challenge. And if we start addressing that particular bottleneck, then probably half battle is won already. Because when we are working, when we are at the ground in remote villages, tribal pockets, and slums, and many different geographies that we work in, that is the biggest challenge we encounter, and that is where we just see like the attitude towards the whole subject is not so very positive. So the biggest challenge and the biggest agenda that we should be looking at, and in order to have 100% equity, we should look at those aspects of it, so that the basic attitude towards, if it's a matter of 5 days, just hide it, just ignore it, just forget it. So that particular attitude has to be changed. So that is something we definitely require to work on, and that is the biggest gap, I would say. Second, I would say the whole knowledge about, like, if you ask somebody to use sanitary pad, and as Mr. Murunathan rightly said, they will not use it. Why will they? Unless they understand the value of it, unless they understand the importance of it, and what are the science behind it. Like, why exactly I should be investing even 2 rupees to buy a sanitary pad? Why should I? Like, instead, should not I go and buy a 2 rupees toffee for my kid? So that is something that knowledge has to be there, and that we definitely require to work on to address the agenda, to reach the target that we are setting up. Third, I would say, besides,
We all are leaders of our own lives, and we need to live it up to our own expectations. Just don't let anything stop you, and together we can break stigmas about menstrual equity, because it is important, and it's about equity within yourself. And if you don't speak, you are not only speaking for yourself, but you are putting all the other lives in danger too. So you need to speak for yourself and a lot of women around you, and you have the power to change things. So let's do it.
Thanks, Harnaaz. And I've just been requested to open up for a question from the Times group.
Hi, Harnaaz. Follow the mics, and right now you can get a meeting with anyone that you want in the world, being Miss Universe. At such a young age, with this much power and ability to kind of create an impact, has that ever been daunting for you, and how do you kind of overcome that? And I'm asking this for all the other young girls with big dreams out there.
Well, I think everything is overwhelming, of course, your life just changed from upside down. But at the same time, Miss Universe had enough faith in me to make sure that I take the responsibility of the crowd and to use this platform to raise awareness about things like menstrual equity and all the things which are important to be spoken. I mean, I know, as you said, that I might end up being in Bollywood, Hollywood. Well, that's something which nobody knows, whatever happens. Well, but my main focus has always been to use the platform, my voice, in the wisest way possible. And I know a lot of young girls are looking up to me, and I want to make them feel comfortable about themselves. I don't want what I have been through. If I was uncomfortable, I don't want everyone to go through that. If somebody is going through, we need to break it right now. We have the power to empower each other. I want period poverty to go to period poverty. And that's what we are doing right now, and being more vocal. So that's that.
I have a couple more. I'm just going
Go
to write
ahead.
them off.
Go ahead, go ahead.
Thank you. So can you also share some of the interactions that you had with like the young change makers, the girls who you've interacted with till now that have kind of really impacted you and really convinced you that this is a fight that you must take up in a big way globally? Kind of good.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a small room, it's fine.
Okay.
Should I say?
Go ahead.
So, Harnaaz, can you share some of the interactions that you had with the young change makers, the young girls that you've met till now, and kind of tell us why talking to them has really impacted you and convinced you that this was a fight that really needed to be taken up in a big way globally?
It's very important to use your voice impactfully, and those girls are so young. They're so strong and confident about themselves. I got to learn so many things in a couple of minutes with them, and they ignited the fire in me more. Because they are looking up to me as what I saw. I mean, they had so many questions. They were ready to fight for themselves. What else do we want? When you have that power for yourself, you're ready to spread that power to young girls who are sitting next to you. I was just talking to one of those girls who said that, why should we talk about this? Why it should be silent? Why shouldn't we do this? I was so happy because this is what I want. They need to have the questions and we need to have the answers. That's the tandem between each one of us. We need to support them. And I think the confidence of them being vocal is very important because they are the change makers. They are the future generation. And if they are ready to change, trust me, it is possible.
That's absolutely true. And Mr. Arunachalam, I have a question for him if we have him.
Yes.
Hi sir, honored to speak to you. Your story was actually brought to the big screen, and at that time, of course, it caused huge conversation and seemed to have a significant impact. A few years down the line, how impactful or helpful has that big screen representation been for you, if at all?
So what?
Okay, wonderful. Wonderful, and I love some of the things that I just heard, you know, Harnaaz, you saying we want to change it from period poverty to period poverty.
Right.
And that's amazing, and I think it's been such an inspiring discussion because the need for a collective, the need for collaboration to bring a change at scale could not have been better emphasized, right? This discussion was so useful. And this coalition is just the beginning. To the point that Mike was making, the task is huge, the issue is massive, right? And therefore, this is really an open platform to extend an invitation to more partners to join and make it a collective mission, right? And with that, I want to thank you, Harnaaz. I want to thank the entire Miss Universe organization, the Miss Diva organization, Mr. Arunachalam, Mike, Paula, Arun, everybody for you all having made the time to join in person, to join from all the time zones in the world, really odd hours, making the time to make this such an inspiring discussion for all of us. All of you viewers, I know that we've got people joining in from the US as well, and it's a really odd hour. So, and I know some of you, so thank you for joining. And this is, like I said, this is just the beginning. So do stay tuned for a lot of action in the coming months and years. Harnaaz just announced that next week she's setting up the first machine. She's going to be working with Padman and planned to set up the first machine in India, her home country, and then reach 5 million girls by 2025 in India, with an ambition, with a global ambition to impact 500 million girls and young women. Thank you so much, everyone. Very humbled, very privileged to have you all in the room and to be a part of this coalition. On behalf of DDP for Good and the DDP Mudra Group, my heartfelt thanks, and it's an honor and privilege for us to be a part of this initiative. Thank you so much. And I'd like to invite everyone.
One question, sorry.
Yes, sir.
I need to give the pinpoint answer to the girl who asked the question. So please ask her what way the department will help, or what we are doing, what is going to happen.
I said in the beginning, it's not a choice. It's just not a choice at all. And thank you, Harnaaz, for igniting this and for bringing everybody here together. Thank you so much. God bless you, and we wish you all the luck in all your aspirations. You're a source of inspiration to the young girls across the country, not just across the country, but across the world. And I love the idea of bringing men into the conversation, young boys into the conversation. It all starts early. And you're an inspiration to them all. Thank you for being here. Thank you for all that you're doing. Thank you, everyone, again. Thank you for joining, and stay tuned for a lot of action in the years and months to come. Thanks so much. And I'd like to invite.
It was just out of
All the panelists?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
We will. Okay, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
That's the living room.
Just,
Is this yours, Hannah?
yeah.
Excuse me. Phone नीचे रख. तो थोड़ा कैमरा भी चलेगा.
There, in the middle, I see it.
You want me to join?
Yeah.
Okay. You guys are great.
Thank you so much. I had such an incredible individuals beside me, so of course it had to
No,
be
it's all
powerful.
you. It's all you.
Excuse me.
Harnaaz over here.
Harnaaz to your right. Sorry. Look here.
Yeah.
Ma'am, Harnaaz.
Harnaaz here.
The other. Thank you. Yes. I think it's still. Shali, you want to let him go back? Pragati will present. Excuse me.
Sir! Oh, sir, are you there?
Excuse. Sorry.
Harnaaz.
Man, look here. I'm here right now.
Thank you so much. Thank you everyone. Thank you.
Not your center, ma'am.
Man, look here.
Sweep to your left side. Not your center. Here. Just one moment down.
और अगेन ये साइड का लाइट आ रहा है
इसको वन नंबर है इसको
Did he just tell me less than? No, he didn't. I'm just here instead. Okay.
मैं कौशिक का कौशिक के बाजू में उसका असिस्टेंट
I'm here, center.
हमने just wait
तो ज़्यादा थोड़ा टिश्यू थोड़ा शिफ्ट
Thank you.
hold on just add some color
Veg salad.
How do I go? Where's the shit?
Right here. Get the two-shot Harnaaz and shot.
some with hands down
I got it in there, but the lighting's better. It's okay, you're
done
You sound like Paula, because you and Paula are about the tallest people in the room. Michelle, is in?
We're not leaving our hands. We're holding our hands tight.
Nope, no, sir.
I love the holding hands.
Together. You're gonna do it together.
You'll hold them up?
All right.
yeah into the camera
I can sense a lot of power. Okay, okay.
Thank you. We're gonna go to your next.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Hi everyone, I'm Harnaaz Sandhu, Miss Universe, and today we were in the coalition of with all the experts, and we were talking about menstrual equity, which is really close to all of us, especially Plan India, Changing Our World, DDP for Good, and Mr. Arunachalam, aka Padman, and me for sure. And it was a great initiative to talk about something to break stigmas about. Plan India has been working around 70 countries to reduce period poverty and to empower women all around the world. And along with such great experts, we got this opportunity to speak more about menstrual equity and break stigmas around it, and to provide more sustainable pads. It's our vision to reach out to 5 million girls, even more, within India, and 500 all around the world. And it can be also possible if you come and participate, and let's together change the world, because we are the change makers. And let's just break stigmas about menstrual equity. There are so many women around the world who are facing problems talking about their own health, and they're losing their lives or having serious problems like cervical cancers and many more. Let's stop it right now, and let's be more vocal, and let's just make it happen. Menstrual equity is just a part of your body. Mentally and physically, you need to be ready, and there should not be a single girl out there who should drop out just because she's on a period. Period. Poverty. Thank you.
Good? Yeah, that's good. Good for you? Okay.